Hey my Liptons, so I wanted to do this video on Pretty Little Liars, and obviously I just did a review of the finale of the Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. Please y'all go watch it and go hear my commentary and go like, comment, and subscribe to that, and subscribe to this, subscribe right now currently if you're watching my video. And like and comment because I do want to get y'all's opinions. So I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to say, okay, I was like, okay, so what is the difference? What are the similarities? What are the differences between the OG Pretty Little Liars, which is on the left, and the newer Pretty Little Liars, which is on the right? And I would say, from watching Pretty Little Liars Original Sin and being someone that grew up with the OG Pretty Little Liars, Aria, Spencer, Hannah, and Emily, I can honestly say that I personally feel like there are more differences between these two shows than there are similarities. Personally, I feel like, because when Pretty Little Liars Original Sin came out and I watched like the first 4 episodes, I believe, it actually prompted me to go watch like the first few episodes of the first season of the original Pretty Little Liars. I know it says season 4 here, but obviously, I had to get a picture. It prompted me to go watch the original Pretty Little Liars, and for me personally, obviously, like, I just feel like there's more differences than there are similarities. I just feel like the OG Pretty Little Liars, I feel like its focus was more on, obviously but like Allison and them thinking that Allison was missing, and them thinking, they were thinking that either she was dead or was she kidnapped, like what's going on. They, even in the first season, they thought that Allison was the one that was texting them, but then obviously things go into a whole thing and there's a lot to explain. And I just feel like the OG Pretty Little Liars, it was more mystery based. If you guys can understand that, it was more mystery based. It was more like, let's connect the dots. Let's, not to say that Pretty Little Liars Original Sin don't have like the connect the dots thing. That's definitely a similarity that is between the two shows, but I just feel like Pretty Little Liars, the OG Pretty Little Liars, focus way more heavily on the, like, let's connect the dots, like, let's figure out who A is. And I feel like there wasn't so much emphasis on, obviously, there were definitely scary elements and things like that. Definitely. Oh my God. I've had friends that said they could even watch Pretty Little Liars in the dark, which is crazy to me. But it was more drama mystery for me. How I see Pretty Little Liars, it was more drama mystery. It was more mean girl, like, like, in a way, a lot of psychological abuse that happened within Pretty Little Liars. It was a lot of like manipulation, a lot of it definitely tied into a lot of things having to do with friendship, and how sometimes friendships can be toxic, and how sometimes people's actions can lead to these certain things, which obviously is also something that Pretty Little Liars Original Sin also deals with. But I don't know, I just feel like the OG Pretty Little Liars is more, they're based, and they focus heavily more on mystery and on connecting the dots, and it was drama filled, and just even their personal lives. Like I personally, for me, I feel like starting even from like the first season, I knew who my favorite characters were. Like I knew who I just really really liked and like can identify with. Personally, for me, my two girls are Hannah and Spencer. You know, my two girls are Hannah and Spencer. I love those two. Not to say I don't like Aria and Emily. Like they couldn't be a Pretty Little Liars without Aria, Emily, Spencer, and Hannah. Like you can't take those girls out and one of those girls out and it'll be like, no. You need to have all of them. But just like for me, I just like Hannah and Spencer only because like I feel like Hannah and Spencer just went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like they just suffered more, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I think I relate to that because I'm just someone that's also went through my own personal traumas. So it's like I don't know, like anytime when I see somebody go through that or it being betrayed on screen, like I just like I attach myself to that person. And obviously Hannah and Spencer are not perfect, especially Spencer. You know, she's definitely not a perfect person. So but I don't know, those two are my girls. But you see, already, like, even starting from season 1, I already had favorite characters. I already was invested into the characters' like love lives. Like, oh my god, I shipped the hell out of Spencer and Toby. Spencer and Toby were my people. I loved them together. Like Caleb and Hannah loved them together. Like, let me tell y'all, Aria and Aria and Ezra, I know people are gonna be like, you know, obviously we can have like a discussion about the whole teacher-student dynamic and how Pretty Little Liars normalize that kind of behavior, which is definitely its own discussion for its own other video. Obviously, in a fantasy context, not in a real life context, like with the teacher-student thing, I had no issues with Aria and Ezra, but you know, I was also here for Jason and Aria too. Let me tell you something. When I found out that they was getting it in, I don't know what it is about these older men and them finding Aria like attractive. Like even Jason, how old was Jason when he was like into Aria? I don't know, but all I'm saying is these older guys is kind of weird. Especially because Aria kind of even though Aria looks like a kid. I'm sorry, she has a baby face, so it's just, you know. And obviously Emily and in her situation, I wasn't too invested into Emily in her situation because I feel like I couldn't relate to it, obviously, because I'm not a gay woman, so it's not something that I was too just like invested. But I definitely wanted Emily to be happy, you know what I mean? So I was invested into these people's love lives in the OG season 1. But now going into Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. Okay, let's just start off from the bat. Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I have to keep it a buck. I really don't have a favorite character right now. You know what I mean? I don't have a favorite character. There's nobody that like I genuinely feel like I care about. You know what I mean? It's like for me, you have to care about a person. Like, you have to be invested in their story. And I just feel like with these girls, I like them. And obviously, like, when A comes after them in the show and things like that, of course, I want them to be safe. I want them to be protected and for them to protect themselves. So, obviously, yes. But it's like, as far as, like, me having a favorite character, I have to be honest. Like, I don't really have that kind of like parasocial connection with any of the characters yet. Maybe it'll grow. Maybe in season 2, maybe as the show goes on, maybe I'll end up like really, really be like, yo, that is my girl. Maybe it'll be Farron, maybe it'll be Imogen, Tabitha, even though Tabitha's, but anyway, I'm gonna get to it. Mouse, But yeah, like, I don't know. And plus, even their love lives, it's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? You know, it's just like, there's no build up to their love lives is what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like going into the show, it was like the characters already had their boyfriends set up. So it wasn't a situation where it could be like built up to the point where it's like, okay, this is how they felt, this is how they met each other, this is how, you know, the dynamic was, this is how they fell in love, and this is how they, you know, are intimate. Like, Pretty Liars, the OG Pretty Liars gave me that. You know, there was a build up to the relationships, whereas I feel like everything was already built in, so it was just something where it's like the audience just had to accept the relationship. Like, for instance, Noah and her boyfriend, Farron and what's his name, Chris, is that his name, if I'm not mistaken? You know, it's just like Mouse and her boo Tabitha and what she has going on, and then Imogen, and it's just like there was no, like, even for instance, let's say Noah and her, because I don't know why I'm blanking on Noah's boyfriend's name, but I do know his name in real life, Alex. Alex, I don't want to mispronounce his last name, because I do remember him. I used to watch him a lot on YouTube when he was doing the covers and things like that, because he used to go viral all the time. But yeah, like, even Noah and her boyfriend, it's just like, I don't care. That's the thing. Like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? I don't want a situation where it's like, it's just like, I don't care kind of thing. It's like, no, like, I want to ship y'all. I want to be invested in y'all's relationship. You know what I mean? Farron included. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just feel like Farron is too much of a bad bitch for the guy that she's with. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. He seems nice and everything like that, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what was I expecting for Farron, you know, as far as like a boyfriend kind of thing, because like, I don't know. At first, initially, I thought that Farron and him were kind of like in competition and were beefing with each other, but then she was like, "Oh, you know, no, even though he looks gay, but it's like he's not, and I'm gonna date him." And I was like, "Okay." So I don't know. I'm not even invested in that relationship either. They're not even putting anything within that relationship. All it's showing is that they meet up in one scene, they meet up at a party, they kiss. Oh, yeah, so ballet, scoliosis, you know, da 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 da, and move on. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to really do with their relationship and how they really feel for each other and things like that, you know? Mouse, I mean, Mouse's relationship, I guess you could say, is kind of somewhat built up, but it's like I still don't really care for it per se. Tabitha has a, does she have a thing for Wes? No, I don't think she really does. But then Chip, but that's a whole other situation. I can't even get into it. Obviously, Image, you know, but it's mostly these three. It's mostly these three who are in the relationship. So I'm gonna leave Imogen and Tabitha out of it, right? So yeah, so right off the bat, like, I'm not invested into these people's relationships, their love lives. I'm just like, girl, like, that's one of the main things to get you, especially for a teen show, because it is a teen show. Let's be very clear, it's a teen show, PG-14. You know, teens, I'm sorry, teens do look for, you know, that, like, parasocial kind of relationship with a character and their love lives and things like that. So it's just like, the fact that they haven't really built that in or built it up in a way where it's like we can get invested into these people's love lives was somewhat disappointing. And let's also move on. Obviously, you know, I guess the similarities are like, these are 5 girls, you know. I guess you could consider Imogen to be like, what, the Allison or something, and then who who's the Arya? I guess you could say Noah's the Arya. Noah's the Arya. Tabitha is Spencer. Who's Hannah? I think Hannah's Farron. And then Emily, and Emily is Mouse is Emily. I guess you could say that, but it's something where it's like, you know, even the names. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, if y'all don't know this, when I first watched the first episode and I heard these girls' names, especially when I heard Imogen and Tabitha and Mouse and Farron and Noah, I'm like, yo, what the hell? I thought this was like it's like, why didn't y'all guys just put the original names of like the girls from the first Pretty Liars? Like what? At first, I genuinely did not think that I was gonna remember these girls' names, because I'm just like, Imogen, Tabitha, Mouse, Farron, Noah, and like, I do not know these girls' names. Like, at first, like, it took me a while. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, girl, these names are horrible. They should have never changed these girls' names. They should have kept it the way it was and then go forward with whatever storyline they had. But let's be very honest here, right? Pretty Little Liars Original Sin is mostly obviously, you know, slasher, nostalgia slasher, Michael Myers, whatever, Scream, whatever. It is definitely giving that kind of tease, you know, and we have to be honest about that. And it's like, and I feel like that's the main thing and the main difference between Pretty Little Liars Original Sin and the OG Pretty Little Liars is that Pretty Little Liars Original Sin definitely wants to take a different take or a different kind of path compared to Pretty Little Liars, the OG Pretty Little Liars. And it's like, I have no issues with that. But yeah, it's definitely not original. Well, no pun intended. It's definitely not original as far as like the concepts and the, you know, the big guy with the mask and the knife, with the butcher knife, and just coming at you with the. It is. I will say that it's very intense. It's definitely very intense. It's very, you know, scary, and it's like, you know, your adrenaline goes high, and you're just like, oh my god, please get out of there, please get out of there, please. But it's definitely not anything we haven't seen before, you know. And that's where I feel like that's the main difference between Pretty Little Liars Original Sin and the OG Pretty Little Liars, is that Pretty Little Liars Original Sin is more so a scary kind of genre. It's more scary than it is mystery and drama. Well, it definitely has. I won't say this. I won't deny that it doesn't have its like mysteries and especially drama concerning Imogen and Tabby, especially with the parents. Oh my god, I forgot the mothers. You know, sins of the mothers is what I call them. Sins of the mothers. And that whole situation with Angela Waters. So there's definitely drama there, but it's definitely more, you know, scary. It's like scary show, scary movie based, you know, Michael Myers type of vibe. Even the theme song they basically remixed the original theme song of OG Pretty Little Liars, but they put a more like a frightening kind of Halloween-esque tone to the theme song. So they definitely wanted to give it that kind of tease. Like, they definitely wanted to give it like Michael Myers, you know, like what other scary movie was popular? Yeah, I can't think of any right now, but yeah, they wanted to give it that kind of vibe, and it, you know, it's definitely that. So I will say this. some of the, and I pointed this out before in one of my videos. Sometimes the acting that, it can be either the girls or like the parents of the girls or whoever's around, the acting can be a little bit over the top. And I pointed this out before about the guy that plays Sherry Beasley. The acting can be a little bit too over the top for me, especially with also with Tabitha too. Tabitha can be a little bit too like up there for me. And maybe that's because of the, I don't know, I'm just speculating and I don't want to like really offend anybody. Maybe it's because of like the, obviously the trauma that she has endured and things like that. And but it's just like, even the way that she talks, like she genuinely does sound like sometimes like a caricature of someone on TikTok talking about like anything and everything. Like it's just, it's like, oh my god, you know, the hyper masculinity and the femininity, and like, yes, reverse the roles, let the woman be the killer and the man be running away, like, yes, feminism. It's just like, she gives me caricatures sometimes, Tabitha, and it can come off over the top. Farron, sometimes I'm little bits here and there, her acting can be a little bit over the top, a little bit. And obviously, as I said before, Sherry Beasley, the guy that plays Sherry Beasley, I don't know, maybe they told him to act like that. Also with his wife. Oh god, she was I don't know, anytime I see their scenes, especially with Sherry Beasley's scenes, I kind of cringe a little bit, because I'm just like, yo, I'm about to get the most, like, over-the-top, cringy-ass, like, facial expressions and acting right now. Like, I can't. Like, in a way, I'm kind of glad that they're getting rid of his character. Like, if, obviously, spoiler alert, Sherry Beasley dies at the end. But it's like, yeah, the acting in the show can be kind of over the, like, even the flashbacks too, like with the mothers and with Angela Water, it's like, bro, it's like, is this something, like, let's be, and that's the thing too, I feel like we're missing a little bit of like being realistic sometimes, and it happens with both shows. I will say that it happens with both shows, and obviously these are not the only shows that you know, that missed the mark as far as when it comes to being realistic, right? I just feel like, you mean to tell me a grown, you know, face mask, you know, butcher knife head ass guy that's dressed almost like a freaking janitor walks into a school and there's no cameras that catch him, there's no security guards? Like, listen, I've been to high school before. Trust me, there's security. There's cameras. Okay, there's alarms. You mean to tell me there was none of that in the schools? You know? And it's like, plus, is Sherry Beasley the only freaking, like, a sheriff or officer in the freaking police department? Like, where are the rest of these police officers? I'm just like, what's happening here? Also, y'all already know, if y'all go watch my previous review on the finale Pretty Liars, obviously, spoiler alert, when Imogen, you know, got her super Wonder Woman strength and was able to stab A in the neck. I'm sorry, like, I don't care what y'all say, that's unrealistic as hell. You mean to tell me Imogen, who is pregnant, what, 9 months now? Even though I don't know why I thought that she was still like 7, 8 months. But yeah, you mean to tell me who had literally her water broke? I can understand the ambush part, because, you know, the curtain was there and she stabbed him in the stomach. But the stabbing him in the neck, I'm sorry, I don't care what y'all say. I thought A was gonna clock her in that scene. I thought that the baby was gonna be, you know, just, we were gonna have to dig up a grave for Miss Baby. You know, obviously I'm happy that the baby's alive, but, you know. But yeah, like, it's just like, I'm sorry, like, Imogen's small self is not about to stab that big guy in the neck like that. Like, face to face. Like, no. Like, it wasn't even like, no. And obviously, I'm not saying that Pretty Liars Original Sin only had those kind of, like, unrealistic scenes. You know, Pretty Liars, obviously, it definitely had its moments where it was unrealistic in certain situations, but I just feel like I just feel like it was definitely heavy in Original Sin. But overall, you know, I'm all for the nostalgia. I'm all for, you know, me going back to watching the original Pretty Liars and just comparing and contrasting how some of the things. Also, I'm happy that they're doing the crossover between Arya and Ezra and Imogen. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here. You know, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys don't? Please subscribe to my channel, guys. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like the videos. And please comment, because I actually do want to get y'all's opinions, okay? So, I will talk to you guys later, my Liptons. Bye.